Funeral benefit, very, very important. Many educators and others are not even aware that there is a funeral benefit coming from the GPF. It's not like a normal funeral policy where you have a piece of paper. No, if you don't know about this and you don't apply, it cannot be paid out. So what you should do actually is get this Z300 form and keep at least 2 of those forms at all times available, because the main member is covered for the funeral benefit and your spouse is also covered. Whether your spouse is in government, it does not matter. Now, this funeral benefit only commenced in 2002, and at that stage it was just for the working people, and the pensioners were not covered. However, 10 years later, all pensioners were also covered for the funeral benefit, and it has now been just upped to 20,000 for each member, for the main member as well as for the spouse. Children are also covered for an amount of 8,000 rands each, and but that's only up to an age of 18, or if that child is a full-time student, up to age 22. Then we also have adopted children, and disabled children are also covered by this funeral benefit. So it is very important that you got to apply for this, and there are other forms that go with it, obviously death certificates and bank forms and all that, but on the reverse side of Z300 all the requirements are listed. However, the next slide. Medical aid is so important today. We're all aware of the fact that the government hospitals are not up to scratch, and it is very, very essential to have medical aid when you retire. In fact, that is the time when you really require medical aid. The older you get, the more complications you have. So now, there are just 2 requirements which are necessary to qualify for a medical subsidy when you retire. The one is, you must have been the main member of a medical aid and receiving a subsidy during the last 12 months of service. So in other words, you cannot decide to join a medical aid 6 months before you retire. So that's what we mean. You must be the main member and receiving a subsidy during the last 12 months of service before you retire. The second requirement is you must have a total of 15 years of service in government. It does not matter if it's broken service. It does not matter if you were an educator, you were a nurse, a psychologist before that. So as long as you got 15 years in total in government, then you qualify for medical aid subsidy. What is also interesting that I found out is that while you are working, the premium you pay can differ. If 2 people are in different salary brackets, bands, then the one earning X amount can possibly pay a higher premium for the same medical aid, same level and everything, than the other person who's on a lower band. However, once you retire, they automatically put you on the lowest band, irrespective of the size of the pension that you're going to earn. Next slide. Tax implications. This is so important, so important. People want to resign and grab the money. That is looking for danger. I don't advise anyone to resign instead of retiring because the tax implications are terrible. when you retire, that's the first point there, the first 550,000 rands of your lump sum or gratuity is completely tax-free. Then a further advantage is if you have started teaching before March the 1st, 1998, those people will benefit further. The reason is then what happens? Those who started before 98, all the pension money they paid in is completely tax-free, So this only applies to people who are long in the profession and who've started in their work before 1st of March 1998. So they get a further, call it a bonus. Now, if you resign, you only get a rebate of 27,500 on your lump sum and your total payout. So that makes it even more worrying, because the 550,000 is just of your based on your gratuity only, whereas let's say, for example, your payout is 3 million rand in total. That means only 27,500. So that means the balance of the 3 million will be taxed at a heavy rate. So you'll end up paying a huge amount in tax. So it's not viable at all. Unless, of course, you've got other income and others, or you have lots of other money, then maybe 1 in 100,000 can afford doing that. Or perhaps if you are forced to resign, meaning you intend going overseas, and then you got to resign, you can't do otherwise. What sort of pension can you expect roughly? There are formulas which are available, easy to calculate. So if you are earning, for example, 400,000 per annum, then with 35 years of service, you are going to earn a pension, monthly pension of 65% only. Now imagine a person with 20 years service will only get 36% as a pension of their last salary. So this gives you some idea, which indicates that you have to make provision while you're working with other forms of investment, with retirement annuity and things like that. So once more, I want to emphasize, please think twice before you resign. In my opinion, it's not an option. You should rather take retirement. There's also this misconception, take all the money out, invest it, and you get more money. Believe me, there's no such thing. There is nothing better than the GEPF. GEPF, just to tell you something about GEPF, it is the biggest fund, pension fund in the whole of Africa. And well, up to now it's been very, very stable. I mentioned the fact they are 110% funded. Most of your medical aids are not even funded near to 100%.